Two Sides, the Carry-On Circle. Chapter 11. You don't know us. Get up, you lazy bum, a familiar voice said as the door swung open. Antonio lifted his head from slumber. A tricky? You came back? Where the hell have you been? I was staying with my mom and helping her out. She's not doing too good, so I'm debating turning myself in. The only catch is that I don't know how long I'm going in for. I had no idea the Carry-On Circle had completely fallen apart too. Did you know? Bro, I got cut off from everybody. Tricky shook his head. And how did that happen? How could you let that happen? Even my dad hasn't been calling. Marcos is in jail. Maria and my baby are gone. The Carry-On Circle is dead. I thought I lost my best friend. I've practically lost everything. I don't even have my freedom anymore because everyone knows I'm wanted. End it all and turn yourself in with me. We made a pact that we go down together. I can't keep running. Antonio didn't have a response. Tricky nodded, just as I expected. I thought giving you time to think would make you come to your senses, but I guess not. Antonio, I've been seeing everything that has been going on around here and all the people who went down for you. There is nobody left besides me. I am not going down for you unless we go down together. Maybe we were never as close as I thought. Tricky chuckled. Get over yourself. This isn't your world anymore. Antonio shoved Tricky. He narrowed his eyes. Are you sure you want to do that? I'm your last bridge that is about to burn. You dug your own grave and it's time you lie in it. Antonio, again, didn't have a response. I'm out. It ends here, Antonio. Antonio stood in the empty room by himself as he heard the car drive away on the gravel. The empty room in the empty house with an empty person standing in it. Antonio was officially on his own. The room was silent as Hallie stood in the doorway. It was almost like nobody knew what to do and the shock factor could electrocute you. Scott's jaw hung open. Well, hello. Beth, Grace, you know what to do. Beth handed over her pink cuffs. This one's on you, Grace. Do you have anything in your pockets that's going to hurt me? Grace asked. Hallie shook her head. All right, just keep remaining calm and I'm going to go ahead and search you. What made you turn yourself in? Scott asked. I was tired of running. I was tired of this life when it served me no good anymore. Hallie mumbled. She's clean. Grace stated. Beth guided her to the couch. We aren't taking you in yet because we need answers. The biggest smile formed on Scott's face. You realize how long we have been looking for you? We finally found the ringleader of the Carry-On Circle. Hallie chuckled. I wouldn't say that, but I definitely saved their asses from a lot. I don't even know what happened to the ones I called family. What made you get into this lifestyle in the first place? Scott asked. I never was one who got into too much trouble, but I found drugs at too young of an age. I grew up in the East Side, but the part where the sun doesn't shine. I had a good group of friends who were from nice neighborhoods and they could afford to do drugs. We had the mindset that nothing would happen to us, and of course being 16 young, wild and free, drugs were the hottest thing to be getting into. It was only supposed to be fun until it wasn't. I got hooked way faster than my friends did and they didn't like what it brought out of me, so soon enough I was on my own. I had an okay family life too and I tried to hide the drugs for as long as I could, but eventually they did find out. A lot of those years I can't remember, but I know I met Antonio in the streets and he made me feel loved again. I soon grew closer with everyone else and for some reason Antonio trusted me the most, so he left me with the Carry-On Circle. I had a close call with one of the drugs. I couldn't wait for that high to be over and I knew once I came back down to earth I would never do hardcore drugs again. Why did you stay? Beth asked. It was the family aspect. I lost everyone because of a mistake I made when I was young. I finally had found people who I vibed with again and I couldn't leave them to fend for themselves. Dewey joined in, asking as an inspired person. How were you able to stay in that environment for so long without a relapse? It was hard and at times I was so close, but I knew if I did it would end up killing me. Something was keeping me from it though, it was truly a miracle. Dewey smiled, God has always been on your side. Scott replied, he certainly has been. Hallie, let me ask you this, how old are you? I'm about to turn 25. He continued, you're at that age where you are still young enough to change your life around before you start getting actual felonies. You are old enough though where you have to decide for yourself what you want to do. If I piss test you right now, you're 100% sure it'll come back clean? She nodded, I have given you a reason to trust me yet, so hopefully this will help a little bit. Why does everyone bend over backwards for this guy anyways? Tim asked. Let me put it this way. Antonio wanted an army, and what better way to build an army is with control. You rattle up a bunch of people who are dependent on drugs and know you're loyal to them so they can be loyal back. Eventually you get so many people on your side it's hard to leave since you're meeting a new family. You'll see less and less of the person who you're worshipping and more of the normal druggies you surround yourself with. Hallie explained. So why did you stay if you're clean? Dewey asked. Somehow I worked my way up to a direct line with Antonio with the people he can trust. These people became my family over the years and I can't let them go. We all found each other at our lowest and brought out the best in each other. Scott and Tim rummaged through the cabinet. Hallie and Dewey kept glancing over at each other. There was something about him. His smile? His eyes? His demeanor? She couldn't help but get butterflies. She thought to herself, but why, this was the enemy, right? Who am I kidding? I'm the one sitting here in handcuffs right now. He must think all sorts of awful things about me. Justin asked, why would you want to become a god-awful person though? Hey, man, chill out. Dewey chimed in. Bro, she's a fugitive sitting in handcuffs right now. Justin argued. Yeah, but she isn't putting up a fight. Not all of them can be bad. If anything, most fugitives just need help. Hallie spoke up, he's right. You don't know us. We aren't all bad. Scott threw the test on the couch, here. Grace will supervise. Grace closed the door behind them, I know this is probably super awkward and weird, but you're safe here. Hallie smiled and proceeded to unbox the test. She could hear chatting coming from the main room that she just knew was about her. Her heart raced as they waited for the test results to come in. With every possible scenario playing in her head, what if something was slipped into my drink or food? What if being around drugs caused me to still have substances in my system? What if it traveled through the air? What if being around it for so long never really made me as sober as I thought? What if? It's negative. Grace shouted from the bathroom. Hallie sighed a relief. Finally, a foundation of trust is being built. Scott ordered Dewey to take her to the cars in the back. As Dewey reached for Hallie's arm, a shock came through. They both slightly gasped as they made eye contact. He brushed it off as he opened the back door. Do you smoke? Hallie nodded, just cigs nowadays. Dewey pulled out a small cardboard box from his pocket. We have to keep you cuffed until we get to the jail, but it should be manageable in the front. Hallie put the dry cigarette in her mouth as Dewey reached for his lighter. The two of them made intense eye contact as Dewey shared a flame with Hallie. She looked up into his eyes that seemed to be glistening. For some reason, the same energy he radiated was relatable. Almost like he was hiding pain behind that bulletproof vest. They took turns blowing smoke away from each other's faces. They didn't say much, just lived in the moment. Soon enough, the rest of the crew joined them outside. The women, Beth, Felicia, and Grace went in one car with Hallie, then the men in the second. We thought it would be less intimidating to have just women, Felicia said as she got in the car. Beth turned to Hallie, there is something different about you compared to any other fugitive we have caught. Not even talking about this case either. I don't feel right about throwing you in jail and forgetting about you. You are smart, beautiful, and have too much potential to throw it away. Everyone makes mistakes and it seems like you learned from them a long time ago. That's why we discussed it and we want to put you on bond with us. Thank you so much. Hallie cheered. Now that doesn't mean go run and tell everyone because this is a rare occurrence. Nobody ever jumps bail on us, so if you're planning on pulling something you might as well just stay in the cell. This was my idea, and it's been tough convincing my honey, so you better not make me look stupid. Beth stated. Felcia chimed in, you know I never had daughters, so when Scott met Beth and brought her into the family we grew very close. Then when I gained Grace as a granddaughter it was even better. When we met Beth she was just getting sober and getting her life on track. She reminded me a lot of myself when I met Tim, and right now you are reminding me a lot of her. For some odd reason you tie perfectly into this family. Thank you for taking a chance on me. I promise I will do everything to make this right, and I want to do what I need to do to take care of this. Hallie responded. I never thought I would be seeing the Los Campos jail with my own eyes, let alone be setting foot in it. I just know people already hate me in there. Also, who knows what story Bryn has been giving. I've wronged a lot of people under Antonio's influence, now it's time to make things right. Scott called for Grace to walk her inside, but Dewey closely followed behind. Dad didn't ask you to come. Grace said. Dewey glanced to Hallie, well maybe I'm tired of following Dad's orders. Grace shrugged and whispered to Hallie, and they make me out to be the dramatic one. She rang the doorbell, Grace Bounty, here dropping off fugitive Hallie Burns. A violent buzz with a spiritless tone. A cold draft from inside greeted them as they entered. As the doors locked behind Hallie and the Bounty kids departed, that feeling set in of where she was. Most people might think it's not that serious until you get caught, but even when she was roaming free it was never fun and games. Right before she passed through the gates she glanced over her shoulder to see Dewey still standing at the door. Even through these stone-cold walls a ray of sunshine was shining in. The rest of that day was fuzzy. The booking and processing process took almost 4 hours to complete before Hallie was thrown into the fire. The next few days were in and out of cells and the facility to finish up paperwork. Since Beth had promised to provide bail for Hallie, that gave her a sliver of hope she would make it out of here. The Los Campos jail was your typical gloomy facility with 2 levels of cells for each floor, then the day room being in the middle with circular metal picnic tables. It was rare if you knew someone that you would be on the same floor, especially if it was common knowledge to the court that you guys had ties. Completely by chance Bryn was on floor 6, and so was Hallie. Caden was still somewhere in the jail too. The facility sat right next to the larger-than-life courthouse and had 2 identical buildings. One for men and one for women. As soon as Hallie entered the day room for the first time all eyes were on her. She had a huge target on her back for various reasons. The obvious being tied to the carry-on circle. Also her being new to the system, and of course just because she's fortunate looking. The feeling of anger by others followed her as she walked through the room. On the other hand, she had a reputation of being one of the only good higher-ups in the carry-on circle who was there, not the people and not the business. A familiar face sitting at one of the tables shined through everyone. Hallie's heart raced as she approached the table. She had heard many stories, so she wasn't completely new to the unspoken rules. She was just worried how this would come across to the veterans. Can we talk? She asked the girl. What are you doing here? Bryn, I am so sorry for everything that has happened. She shook her head. No Hallie, I made it so much more difficult than it needed to be. Being in here gives you a lot of time to think. Plus Scott and Beth put a lot of things into perspective. Hallie smiled. Who would have thought we would be sitting here together after we were both promised we would never get caught? Bryn chuckled. The years we spent in the carry-on circle feels like a lifetime ago. Line up, ladies. I'm on the other side, so I don't know how much we will see each other, but free time I'm usually here. Hallie responded, perfect, I'll see you back here. Hallie thought to herself, it's like she's a completely different person. This is the Bryn I remember becoming best friends with.